Hope you enjoyed that intro. I'm back. I've had a week off live streams. I was away for the week and now I'm back. And so I hope you're all really excited about that. Anyway, so today I'm going to be discussing 5 stupid fat loss mistakes. Some of the most common ones we see. Some that you may even look at and think, well, it doesn't sound that bad. I'll explain why. So this is going to be a quick video. I'm going to rattle through these over there. Always get it wrong. Over there. Starting with number 1. You've probably heard this one before. Even the butter can't believe that we're discussing this again, but butter in coffee. So, completely stupid thing to do. I've tried it before. Yusuf's tried it before. We've had clients who've tried it before. And no matter what way you spin it, putting butter in your coffee, putting large amounts of fat calories in the first thing that you drink in the morning is one of the most stupid things you can do from a fat loss perspective. Now, why is that? I know if you were to ask some of the people who advocate this stuff, they would say that it sets you up for the day, that it manages hunger, that it encourages fat loss throughout the day. Like, of course it's going to manage hunger. It's several hundred calories of fat. That's one thing to consider. The second thing to consider is if it is going to encourage fat burning, you probably have to burn an extra 500 calories. So this is assuming you make no other changes to your diet. And let's assume you add around 500 calories of butter, which is not hard to do. You have to burn an extra 500 calories just to break even on your buttery coffee. So it may be nice, it may be delicious, it may seem like a cool idea, but ultimately putting butter in your coffee will not accelerate your fat loss, assuming you don't make other changes. So calories still apply, butter is not exempt as much as we'd all wish that it was. So this, but also in general, just drinking your calories. So you have a small budget per day when you're trying to lose weight. And if you're spending some in a coffee that you would have otherwise probably enjoyed with just a splash of milk or plain black coffee, then it's a silly allocation of that. It's like you've got a tight budget for the month, and on the first day of every month, as soon as you get paid, you take a wad of cash and you throw it out the window and you go, oh, that feels better. I hope you get the point. It's a completely silly thing to do. Second thing, using tablespoons and cups. Not from a crockery perspective. Obviously, we all need to eat and consume food using something and out of something. But what I mean is measuring your food, measuring the portions and quantities of food using these things. So there's something that Yusuf and I call the slow creep when it comes to tracking your calories. And we see this all the time. So people talk about metabolic adaptation, slowing metabolism and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of that during the course of a diet can actually be accounted for by the slowly but surely adding more to what we call a tablespoon or adding more to what we call a cup. Because they're volume measures, they're open to the interpretation. Like, is a tablespoon a flat level? Is it slightly heaped? Is it really heaped? Do you actually start buying bigger tablespoons? Do you start using a bucket instead of a cup? You get the idea. So we always like to prefer to use a weight-based measure. So scales as often as you can, or like a portion size in a packet that's always kind of standardized if you buy it in a shop. If you start to rely on tablespoons and cups, it's so easy to sneak in like an extra couple of hundred calories, especially if you're putting butter in a tablespoon or a cup. So that's silly mistake number 2. Number 3, focusing on foods rather than calories. So everyone knows someone who does this, right? Everyone knows someone who orders the salad off the menu or doesn't eat a certain food or cuts out a certain food group when they're trying to lose weight. And you can still get fat eating salad. Like, if you go and order a salad from a lot of restaurants, they're covered in dressing, they add extra calories, they have to make them taste nice. So a lot of foods that are diet foods or that are healthy foods, in order for them to make them taste tasty in a restaurant, are pretty high calorie. So my attitude with this is, put the effort in, use MyFitnessPal, track your food, just put that 10 minutes of effort in per day and eat food you like. Don't pretend that you're the person who likes ordering salad, because I don't think anybody really does. Number 4 is fat loss based training. I'm not really sure about this picture, but I thought it was quite funny. So it's not really necessarily that relevant, but changing your training or relying on training to create a calorie deficit. Like, one of the worst things you can do when you start a diet or a fat loss phase is to think, right, the training that I was doing that was building muscle, was building strength, that goes out the window and I need to do this special fat loss stuff now. Absolutely, definitely do not do that. Keep your training the same if it's been working. And if you haven't had a training plan before, focus on something that's meant to build strength or retain strength at the very least, or build muscle. The goal of training in a fat loss phase or in a diet, in any kind of phase where you're trying to get leaner, is there's 2 things we need to be doing. One is preserving the strength and the muscle that we have. And we do that through resistance-based stuff, progressive overload training over time. So the training in that respect doesn't need to look like circuit training or cardio or running. It needs to be weights. It needs to be training in the gym, sets of 5, sets of 10, that sort of thing, not focusing on something that is fat loss specific. So that's priority number 1 with training. We can, with training, encourage fat loss using kind of just general increases in activity, low intensity cardio, high intensity cardio, whatever you want, but that should be a last resort, not something that you prioritize. So when you start dieting, don't change your training for the sake of it just because you think it's required to lose weight. It isn't. Number 5, sleep. So I'm not saying sleep's a stupid thing. I'm saying sleep's a very sensible thing, but one of the most kind of pervasive mistakes you can make with fat loss to start you on the back foot straight away is to get a poor night's sleep or consistently undersleep. Consistently don't get enough sleep. You try getting like 5 hours of sleep per night and sticking to a strict diet. Like, it's pretty difficult to do. You're going to have less willpower throughout the day because you're tired to begin with. Hunger is going to be more sporadic. You're going to feel less satiated after meals. So getting enough sleep and prioritizing it, not making it something that just like happens if you have enough time, is one of the quickest ways to just make dieting easier than it would otherwise be. So those are the 5 things. Hopefully you get something out of them. If you're doing any of them, then just stop it. Really easy. So if you like this message, if you like this video, please give me a like, comment, share below. Help this reach more people. Help keep us motivated to do more of them. And we'll speak soon.